What a strange passage to preach on. Anybody think that? Yeah. It's close to the passing of dear Harry. And I'm sorry I wasn't able to be with you on Friday. And I wonder what kind of gap he's left in the church. I wonder who will take his place, whether we have a Matthias here who can do that. I'm moving a bit. Can anybody else hear that? There seems to be a lot of echo. I'd like us this morning to do something a little bit different. I'd like us this morning to imagine ourselves in the upper room where the disciples are gathered. And Peter has reminded the new family that the Bible requires that Judas be replaced. And I'd like you, if you can, to close your eyes and imagine that you're there. And imagine that you're listening to either Matthias or Justus or Joseph, depending on what name you're called, or Barsabbas, but you don't know which. And here are some thoughts. It's been a pretty upsetting time these last few months. How did we get here? Not long ago, we were full of hope. We were learning, we were growing. We were convinced, truly convinced, that God was doing something new among us. We were being stirred. People were coming. Lives were changing. Yes, some people walked away, and that always hurts more than we care to admit. But those of us who remained, we believed we were solid. We thought we were ready for whatever came next. Perhaps our ambitions our expectations were too ambitious. We wanted renewal. We wanted to make a difference. We wanted restoration. We wanted to see God's kingdom made visible, not just spoken about. We wanted lives turned back towards God. Looking back now, what a strange collection we were. Different histories, different education, different wounds, different beliefs, different assumptions about how this was all supposed to work out. Different opinions, especially when some decided amongst us that they were more important than the rest of us. But that's humanity, isn't it? We misread the moment. Guilty. and we don't truly and honestly examine our own motives, guilty. We trip over our pride and we call it conviction, guilty. Of course we disagreed. We confuse our response to fear with wisdom. And our desire to control, and we call it faith. And yet, we carried on, didn't we? We believed that God was about to do something extraordinary. And then it happened. In less than a day, we went from alive to dead and buried, from breathless teaching to gasping grief. And why? Why would they do that to Jesus? Well, you know the rest now. They couldn't keep Jesus down, could they? He rose, like Scripture said he would, because Scripture always keeps its promises, even when we don't. Because God does not abandon his purposes, even when we abandon each other. Remember, he came to us in the upper room. Doors were locked and he walked straight through them. It's as if he was saying, you think fear is stronger than resurrection? Yeah, and the 11, they were shocked. And believe me, if anyone thought they were in the inner circle, it was them. But then there had been a traitor among us. His choice will echo down through the ages longer than he ever imagined. And his story rests with God now. But it's that emptiness, it's that absence, isn't it? That's why we're here now. Peter remembers his scriptures. You know, there's that old saying, you can take the man out of the synagogue. A good Jewish fisherman, he knows that broken nets are mended. He knows that God fills gaps. The Psalms say that the place must be filled. And so, here I stand. Me. A candidate, a possibility. One of two. Chosen or not. You know, I've never been the obvious choice, the first pick for anything. Never the loudest, not the first-hand praise. I like to hesitate. Steady Eddie, that's me. Let the keen ones rush ahead, the confident ones, the gifted ones. Oh, I will help if it's necessary. Truth is, I'm afraid I'll fail. Afraid I'll resent what obedience actually costs. Afraid I'll happily say yes today, and by tomorrow I'll wish I'd kept my mouth shut. And I think that this is the real crunch. I'm afraid that I cannot. No, that I don't want to give all of me. Jesus knew that about me. He knew I could follow. He just wasn't sure I'd ever step forward. Now, you remember, don't you? That time time when he sent us out 2 by 2, like anxious sheep in wolf country, well, I was nervous. Remember that? We came back buzzing, like children who'd seen fire fall from the sky, because sometimes courage appears after obedience. And now, you're going to choose. How? Casting lots. Dice. As if heaven runs on the Urim and Thummim shaken together in a cup. Can you imagine it? Rock, paper, God! My palms are sweating now. This feels enormous. We have no idea what this means. Perhaps we'll just be working for a few years until Jesus returns. Then an easy life as he reigns, and with his servants, his chosen ones. Or maybe we'll have a lifetime of trouble, of danger, of loss, of persecution, of uncertainty. Questions on questions. You know, I like predictability. I like to know I'm somewhat in control, or at least not out of control. I like instructions. I like following. But what if I'm chosen? What if the dice fall for me? What if what looks like chance is not chance at all? That what looks like chance is held by God. If I trust him, and I do, then he sees something in me that I cannot see yet. He'll not be setting me up to fail, because he wants to grow me. He wants to stretch me. He wants to walk with me like a shepherd, even through those darkest days. And if he chooses me, the dice can only fall one way. And if I'm not chosen, then that too is held. Because what looks like chance is held by God even now. Would you trade places with me? Would you? Would you? Would you trade places with me? No, I thought not. You see, it's easier to watch courage than to live it. It's easier to admire other people's courage than to risk it ourselves. But perhaps some of us here need to hear this gentle voice. God is calling you to, not by chance, not carelessly, each one here, your life is not an accident of history. Because what looks like chance is held by God. It always has been. If I'm chosen, it's His best for me. And if I'm not, that too is His best. One of us may be remembered. Maybe our names will be carved on buildings or whatever. And the other, names will disappear to the sands of time. And strangely, I find I am at peace with either. Because whichever path I walk, He chose it. And what looks like chance is held by God because He loves us. So I want to encourage you. Don't wait for certainty before you step in. Don't wait until the fear has gone, because it may never fully go. Step in anyway, commit anyway, not because you're brave, but because He is faithful. Bring your questions. Bring your hesitations. Bring your doubts. Yes, and bring your hurts and your wounds and your struggles and your failures. Because what looks like chance is held by God. And He will never let you down. He will never let you down. Proverbs 16:33 says this: "The lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord." Let's stay still for a moment. A word without application is empty. And the application of this word may be difficult. We've heard a lot about chance, about moments that feel random, unsettled or out of our control. So can I ask you in this stillness, can you gently let go of the idea that your life is being shaped by chance? Maybe you have something you're worrying about, a big uncertainty you're carrying, something you don't know the outcome of, something that you cannot fix. Without needing an answer, can you place that uncertainty into God's hands? Not because you feel certain, but because you trust His heart. Can you place it into God's hands and leave it with Him? Allow Him to take the weight. Allow Him to take the outcome. Allow Him to take the future. The same God who raised Jesus is at work in what you cannot yet see. Because what looks like chance is held by God. And the God who holds your life desires your good. You might just want to say, Lord, I trust you, even here. There's no rush, no right for you to have. God is faithful in that uncertainty. Because what looks like chance is held by God.